today is January 8th, 2024. Just the second Monday of the year, and already the death toll from the New Year's Day earthquake in Japan is rising. I'm Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. Welcome to The Pulse.
And I'm Sam Buban. Welcome.
The 7.5 magnitude earthquake on New Year's Day in Japan, centered near the cities of Wajima and Suzu, have been cut off from each other after the roads were destroyed by the earthquake. The death toll from the tremor, considered one of the strongest Japan experienced in recent history, has now risen to 84. The epicenter of the earthquake was in the Ishikawa Prefecture in western Japan. They listed 79 people still officially recorded as missing, but others believe the number may be much higher. Another 50 people are thought to be stranded in isolated villages on the remote Noto Peninsula, which was the worst hit area. This is according to a report by the United Press International. Rescuers were battling against poor weather conditions to reach at least 700 people in the areas of the cities of Wajima and Suzu. The first 72 hours is critical for survival of those trapped in the debris, rubble, and exposure to cold weather. In a post on X social media, Ishikawa Governor Hiroshi Hashe said, "Today, as we face the 72-hour wall, it is a critical moment for saving lives. We will do our best to save as many people as possible with maximum cooperation of the self-defense forces, fire department, Japan Coast Guard, and police, and others." This towing earthquake also triggered a tsunami reaching to about 5 meters high. Here are some of the footages of the actual event as it happened.
From inside the TV station, a close-up view as the earthquake hit. It struck at 4:10 p.m. on New Year's Day. Many people were at Buddhist shrines, a tradition known as Hatsumode, to bring good luck for the year ahead. The massive 7.6 magnitude, just 10 kilometres below the surface. Skyscrapers in Japan are built to withstand earthquakes. But many houses are not. Plumes of dust could be seen rising as they collapsed in the city of Suzu, the closest to the epicentre. But even as the news broke, it was quickly followed by another threat. Tsunami warnings issued for almost Japan's entire west coast, alongside South and North Korea.
Tsunami will repeatedly hit the coast and may become higher. People in those areas must evacuate immediately.
Fears of a 5-metre tsunami didn't eventuate. The highest wave, 1.2 metres, in the port of Wajima, where as night fell, fires began spreading in collapsed buildings. By morning, more than 100 homes and other buildings were confirmed lost, including this 7-storey apartment block. Landslides have been recorded and some of the road network cut. But unlike during the 2011 earthquake disaster, there's been no reports of damage at the country's nuclear power plants. From Japan's PM, though, a warning: the fatalities could be numerous, with parts of the worst-hit prefecture cut off, and aftershocks are expected for at least the next week. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
The last time another major earthquake hit Japan was on February 13, 2021 in Fukushima, Japan, with a magnitude of 7.1 in the Richter scale.
Relative to the earthquake and its rescue operation, a different kind of tragedy happened at Haneda International Airport when a Japanese Coast Guard smaller airplane involved in the rescue effort collided with a Japan Airlines passenger jet with 394 passengers on board, while the JAL aircraft had just landed at Haneda International Airport. Haneda Airport is the newer international airport for Tokyo, although Narita International Airport is still fully operational. The airliner, an Airbus 350-900, caught fire when it was hit in the runway by a Coast Guard de Havilland Dash 8 aircraft. All 394 people aboard, including crew of the Japan Airlines Flight 516, were evacuated while the aircraft was on fire. But 5 of those 6 crew of the Coast Guard Dash 8 airplane were killed during the collision. This happened the next day, January, after the major earthquake. Japan Airlines 516 departed at 4:15 p.m. Japan Standard Time from New Chitose Airport to Tokyo Haneda, and it landed at 5:47 p.m. Japan Standard Time. And after the collision, within 20 minutes, the 394 people on board were all evacuated to safety. Several aviation experts have lauded Japan Airlines to the point pre-flight safety video, which shows passengers exactly what to do and not what to do in an emergency, and that the passengers complied with those protocols. U.S. rules require 90 seconds to evacuate, but in the case of this Japan Airline incident and the magnitude of the damage, 20 minutes still was an impressive accomplishment. Other observers that compared to U.S. carriers and others around the world, Japanese and Korean air carriers has more flight attendants to passengers ratio, which are very helpful during aircraft accidents.
In Israel, the country's Supreme Court has struck down a new law passed by the conservative allies of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The law was described by its oppositions as one that was designed to diminish the power of the judiciary on checks and balance on the government. Others describe it as a pathway to fascism and dictatorship. The contentious law passed by the Netanyahu government, approved last July, aimed to transform the country's basic judiciary law. The attempted judicial overhaul by Netanyahu's right-wing parliamentary coalition sparked months of protests by Israelites. Critics said the Netanyahu government hoped to change the courts to erode minority rights, make it harder to fight official corruption, and pave the way for the annexation of the West Bank. In a statement posted on social media, Israel's Supreme Court said the 15 justices decided on a narrow 8-7 majority in favor of revoking the change. The broader majority of 12 justices ruled that Israel's Supreme Court had the authority to overrule the change. That same day, Netanyahu's Likud party said the ruling was against the will of the people of the time of war.
Israel's military says it is removing thousands of soldiers from Gaza, so the first major drawdown of troops from Gaza in the war. And on the home front, Israel's right-wing government has suffered a blow. The Supreme Court has struck down a contentious law aimed at weakening the country's judiciary. Well, this New Year's news comes with no pause in the fighting in Gaza, as you are about to hear in this voice message. We received it today from Marianne Saba. She's 23 years old. She has been sheltering at a church in Gaza City for more than 80 days straight.
It's really dangerous to go outside. We try not to leave at all, but me and my husband, we left once. It was yesterday. We went out because we were desperate to know what... Okay.
More bombardment there. Well, Marianne Saba is among the 85% of Gaza's population. That is nearly 2 million Palestinians who are now displaced inside Gaza. The Israeli bombardment has made it impossible for them to leave.
We're going to take a commercial break. Please stick around.
Enjoy FILAMTV Network on KGNG 26.8 Las Vegas and www.filamtv.us. Search for and download FILAMTV Network in Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Download the WCE-TV app from smartphones and search for FILAMTV.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to the polls. The Iowa caucuses, which is the first primary contest for presidential candidates, are just days away. With pride, as always, the first in the nation for primary, such important event will take place on January 15th. According to a new polling in the Republican presidential contest, Nikki Haley is now within the statistical margin of error to Donald Trump. The former governor of South Carolina, who served as Donald Trump's ambassador to the UN, is polling at 33% against Trump's 37%, according to the American Research Group December 27 to January 3 survey. This sudden surge in favorability of Nikki Haley in the polls triggered a response by Donald Trump on his campaign, who vows to spend $3.5 million in ad buys in Iowa and New Hampshire to counter this situation and the possibility that Trump could lose in Iowa and New Hampshire, which are the two earliest primaries. Chris Christie, the former New Jersey governor, known nationally as the only candidate that is truly speaking against Donald Trump, is polling at 10%, while Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida is at the fourth place, getting only 5% on the survey. Vivek Ramaswamy, who is described by many media outlets as someone acting like a little Trump and not really campaigning against Trump in this contest, is at 4%. Many describe him as someone who wants to be on the stage, hoping to be picked as vice presidential running mate if Trump wins.
A Florida man was arrested Wednesday last week for threats made against California Congressman Eric Swalwell and his family. 72-year-old Michael Shapiro of Green Acres, Florida, was arrested on charges of transmitting a threatening communication, according to court records. In a report from the Associated Press, he made his initial appearance in West Palm Beach Federal Court, where a bond was set at $250,000. According to the criminal complaint, Shapiro left 5 voicemail messages at Swalwell's office in Washington, D.C. on December 19th. But Swalwell confirmed in a social media post on Wednesday that the messages were left for him. In one of the messages, Shapiro stated that he was going to come after you and kill you, according to the complaint. In another message, Shapiro stated that he was going to come and kill your children. Shapiro accused Congressman Swalwell of being a Chinese spy, despite multiple investigations revealing no evidence. In a statement, Swalwell said, "No threat is going to stop me from representing my constituents. MAGA Republicans have chosen violence over voting, and this is what it looks like." We're going on a commercial break. Please stick around.
Enjoy FILAMTV Network on KGNG 26.8 Las Vegas and www.filamtv.us. Search for and download FILAMTV Network in Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Download the WCETV app from smartphones and search for FILAMTV.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Are there new laws that has taken effect in Nevada or Las Vegas this week? In Clark County, Nevada, where Las Vegas is part of, you can no longer stop on the bridges, those you use for crossing along the street, for selfies. The local law was approved by the 5 members of the Clark County Commission. According to those familiar with the enactment, the concern was safety and normal access to these crossing bridges. So, no selfies on bridges or face misdemeanor tickets and fines. Assembly Bill 286 requires city and county jail officials to develop a procedure to allow inmates to vote by mail. The previous law required that county clerks cancel the registration of a voter upon determination that the person has been convicted of a felony and is currently incarcerated. The bill establishes a policy that requires that detainees who are registered voters or electors be allowed to vote in each primary election, presidential preference primary election, primary city election, general election, and general city election. Additionally, the bill requires processes to be put in place to allow same-day voter registration at the jail, as well as ensure each vote is cast without intimidation or coercion and the secrecy of the ballot. AB 286 also requires a procedure to be established to ensure the safety of any election board officer or volunteer who assists in the registration or voting process at the jail. These are just among the 80 laws in Nevada that took effect this week.
In the Israeli-Hamas war, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken flew again to Israel and Arab countries to forge a way with the parties involved, hoping to prevent the situation in Gaza from expanding into a regional war. Last week, the U.S. acknowledged that it was responsible for the assassination of a top deputy to a leader of Hezbollah in a drone attack. The killing happened in a Lebanese soil. In an update, the situation in Gaza keeps getting worse and worse for the civilians, especially the harsh condition that infants, children, and older people had to experience. Food and water are hard to find. Some observers are comparing this as using starvation to defeat the enemy and kill the population, like what happened in Somalia since the collapse of the Somalia central government.
The UN says Gaza is unlivable. But what other choice do people have? A blackened, abandoned school in Jabalia refugee camp, North Gaza. Thousands of people came here for safety and shelter. But the war came here too.
After a week, the military ordered all the men inside the school to take off their clothes and stay in their boxes, and to raise their hands with their ID cards.
Gazans fear they'll never be allowed home, and fear they have no home left.
Those in the south can't go back to the north because the army is searching house by house and treats every Palestinian as their enemy. I think the Israeli military is putting pressure on the entire Gaza population, and they will open a gate until everybody leaves to emigrate.
So what will happen to Gaza? US Secretary of State Antony Blinken back in the Middle East to find out. First stop, Turkey. Blinken has three main goals: to pressure Israel to wind down this phase of the war and stop killing so many civilians, to find out what is Israel's plan for Gaza, and to urge the whole region to contain the conflict.
A big part of the conversations we'll be having over the coming days with all of our allies and partners is looking at the steps that they can take, using the influence and ties that they have to do just that, to make sure that this conflict doesn't spread.
But it's getting harder. Hezbollah says it fired 62 rockets into Israel, and Israel is hitting back. In Gaza, a warning from the UN. Famine is looming. Only a couple of bakeries for more than 1 million people. Bread is like gold.
I swear today I have been standing for 10 hours to get this bag. This is the status quo in the country. Only 1 or 2 bakeries for all Rafah. We want more than 1 bakery. There should be at least 10.
Long days of hunger and of war. Gazans hold little hope Blinken's tour will change anything. Nicole Johnston, Sky News, Jerusalem.
Our hearts and prayers go to the innocent victims of this war. We can only hope that a sensible ceasefire happens soon, as children are dying from this conflict. It's a very sad situation. Well, folks, we are out of time for today's broadcast. Join us again next week here at The Pulse. I'm Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Sam Buban. God bless your week.
Enjoy FILAMTV Network on KGNG 26.8 Las Vegas and www.filamtv.us. Search for and download FILAMTV Network in Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Download the WCE TV app from smartphones and search for FILAMTV.
We use headphones as a part of our everyday lives. Whether we're at work, getting exercise, meditating, in transit, studying, practicing, or relaxing.
Hi, I'm Ryan Sway, the founder of Aircom. I would like to introduce the world's first wireless airflow audio earbuds. As a festival and a concert junkie, I really enjoy the live experience of being there and feeling the music. When we started developing Airflow, our goal was to reproduce that live experience using earbuds.
The problem with traditional headphones is that the speakers are located inside of the earpiece, literally giving you centimeters before the audio hits your eardrum.
What AirCom is doing, they're the first company to actually address the fact that there needs to be a space involved associated with having the sound waves expand fully.
The difference between traditional headphones and AirCom audio is that the air tube gives you 8 times more space, allowing the sound waves to fully develop before they actually hit your eardrums. And this gives it a much more live, natural sound, just like in a recording studio.
It's real nice that someone actually addressed the physics associated with how sound comes out.
The challenge we had was to create an earbud with enough airspace for the sound to fully develop and breathe. Unfortunately, traditional earbuds are about the size of a jelly bean, and there's just not enough airspace. However, that changed when we developed Airflow Audio. Airflow uses an air tube to deliver 6 to 8 times more airspace than traditional earbuds. The end result is a true live listening experience, just like you're at a festival or a concert. We also added magnets to the back of the earpieces so you can wear it around your neck when you're not using them.
Being that the drivers are 8 inches from the earpiece, the magnets do not affect the integrity of the sound at all.
The orange line represents the frequency transmitting through the wire to the speaker, which then converts to the blue sound wave that develops more as it travels up the air tube, producing a balanced, full body and live listening experience.
Another really cool feature is that these earbuds are sweat-proof and water-resistant because they're coated with a super hydrophobic nanotechnology. So now you can be on a skateboard or riding a motorcycle and listen to music as if you were watching a live show or actually in a recording studio.
We're coming to you for help in bringing these unparalleled earbuds to market.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.